need to stop losing children, mothers, sisters, because now I get to grieve every single day. Every milestone that hits gets harder because she's not there for it. She was gonna be a 7th grader. She had her whole life ahead of her. Her whole life ahead of her, and it was viciously taken away by 2 evil, heinous monsters.
That's Houstonian Alexis Nungaray, mother of Jocelyn Nungaray, the 12-year-old raped and murdered by 2 undocumented Venezuelan predators, cut loose by Biden policies after crossing the border. Alexis was in Arizona to announce her support for Donald Trump, and as it turns out, she wasn't alone. Less than 24 hours later, independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy offered his endorsement to the former president.
We are aligned with each other on other key issues like ending the forever wars, ending the childhood disease epidemics, securing the border, protecting freedom of speech, unraveling the corporate capture of our regulatory agencies, getting the U.S. intelligence agencies out of the business of propagandizing and censoring and surveilling Americans.
Panel, what do you make of Kennedy's decision to throw in with Team Trump? Will it matter? I'm going to start with you, Holly. 30 seconds.
Yeah. So I think these 2 endorsements, especially Alexis Nungaray, were very powerful. They are designed to appeal to those about 15% of voters who are still kind of undecided and trying to figure out which direction to go. And in both cases, they talked about policy. And I think it really hit home to think about this family that will grieve for the rest of their lives over this senseless, terrible murder. And this is one of the key issues for Americans. It is border security and what's happening with that, all those people who are coming across the border unvetted. They're being released into the country. We don't know who they are and we don't know where they're going, and often this ends in tragedy. With the Kennedy endorsement, likewise, he's talking about a lot of the concerns we've had, especially since COVID, with some of the state's actions to censor people and to tamp down on disagreements about how to react to the pandemic.
Paul, by necessity, you represent crime victims. How effective was an Alexis endorsement to folks who may not have been engaged in the political process?
I think she spoke passionately. I think she spoke on topic, and I think she probably moved quite a few votes because she represents what so many parents fear, which is being a victim of a policy gone awry. I think she did a wonderful job. She's only a couple of months out from losing her beautiful daughter, and it pained me to see her there, but I'm also thankful that she had the strength to do it.
All right, I got to give Marcus Davis an opportunity to talk about this issue because there we have an independent who's breaking one way or the other.
Yeah, and you know, it's unfortunate. You know, my condolences to her and her family losing a child. I can't imagine it, and I can't imagine having to be put in a position where I've got to talk about this thing regarding my child. But nonetheless, I will say this. Yeah, and I agree with you, Holly. Immigration is very important, which is why Joe Biden should have never have reversed Trump's policy when he got in office, which is also why Trump should not have issued that hard rule to the Republicans to not get this bill done that was authored by a conservative, right? And it doesn't matter whether it was a good bill or not. He didn't do it because it wasn't a good bill. He didn't do it because he didn't want legislation to be passed while he was not in office. And we don't know how many people snuck through the back door over the last 12 months while that legislation was not passed.
Okay, Gary, quickly.
We'll talk about
the bill was horrible. Okay,
it was authored by GOP, and
it would have made things worse, not better.
They were going to let thousands in every day, and then we reached the limit. We're going to close the border. It was a joke. This was a feel-good bill. You know, the Democrats are really good at putting titles on bills and saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" Inflation Reduction Act being an example. And
it was a conservative piece of legislation. It came from a conservative.
Hey guys,
one U.S. senator who was involved with the Republicans, but it was a bad bill.
Got to go to break. I promise we're going to talk more about this. I promise we'll talk more.